Good morning. I'm Marie Davis, the Executive Director for the Georgia Center for Employee Ownership, GACEO, and we're here in Athens to record the Shared Success podcast. Thank you to Chat with Leaders for being here with us. And we're at the beautiful Delta Innovation Hub, University of Georgia in the classic city, Athens. Go Dogs! We're going to hear today from employee owners, from co-ops, to some employee-owned companies here in Athens and around. And we're going to be hosted here by the Small Business Development Center in Athens, the SBDC, and the District Office of the Small Business Administration Group, the SBA, in Atlanta. We also want to thank the Truist Bank for creating this beautiful plaza at the Delta Innovation Center. So please enjoy the podcast, and we can't wait to have you meet all these great people.
The SBA has 4 things that we concentrate on: counseling, contracting, disaster assistance, and access to capital. And that access to capital piece is the key for the ESOP in regards to an option that you can use to purchase a business.
And it's very important to know that SBA does not make any loans directly. What SBA does is support lenders that in turn make these loans available to the small business owner.
So you kind of just answered my second question, which is how does the SBA support small businesses?
Now, the SBA backs the loans. We're not necessarily the entire piece of the puzzle, but we are a key piece of the puzzle in the approval process, because many lenders are going to depend on an SBA guarantee in order to get the deal financed.
Very important.
So that's the key piece that the SBA brings to the table.
I love it. And so tell us where they can reach you or how they can find information.
The best way to get in contact with us is actually to reach out to the district office, which is 404-331-0100. That's 404-331-0100. Or you can send us an email at georgia@sba.gov.
And you can always look us up on our website at www.sba.gov/Georgia. The SBA is here to help you in your time of need as a small business owner. Again, reach out to us at our website, www.sba.georgia.
Okay, I'm Shay Smith. I'm the CFO at Sheridan Construction. We're a commercial construction company. We was founded in 1947, so we're in our 78th year of business.
Wow.
Originally out of Macon, Georgia. We actually have an office in LaGrange and just opened an office up here in Athens. But we do work all over the state. We are licensed in the states that are adjoining, but we mostly do our work in Georgia.
That's pretty exciting. So you started out as a family business. What motivated your company to become employee owned?
Really, it's a lot about our second generation owner, Chris Sheridan Jr., inherited the company basically from his father, Chris Sheridan, and took it over in the 90s. But a lot of that, he really was a person that thinks a lot about stewardship. And it's the stewardship of the company. Was a very community involved company and wanted to take care of his employees and the legacy of the company.
I love it.
Yeah, and that the ESOP gave him the ability to transition the company to the employees and let them have that ownership experience and continue the company name into the future.
What do you think is the biggest impact being employee owned has had on your business and your employees?
Really, obviously, the biggest benefit is the employee ownership and giving the employees that benefit of ownership to carry forward in the future. But really the secondary and really kind of, to me, the most fun byproduct of that is the ownership mindset. It takes a little time and it's a lot of work, but once that kind of takes over, it's a lot of fun to see how people start thinking differently, acting differently, and enjoying the job and really seeing the future of the company together and sharing in that experience and sharing in the growth.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm glad to. Thanks for having me.
So I'm Robert Isherwood. I'm the CEO of Ambac International, and we are a 30% employee-owned through an ESOP and 70% closely held manufacturing company in Columbia, South Carolina.
And you live in Athens.
Yeah, I live in the Athens area, yep.
Thanks for being here today. So tell us about how you bought your company back your family business back, and how you moved into employee ownership.
Yeah, so, and that's an interesting problem that owners face. At some point, you have to start thinking about what are you going to do with your business when you're not in your business anymore. And so in our case, the family, we owned a significant portion of Ambac International. You have to you want to be loyal to your employees. We really weren't interested in some kind of liquidation or some kind of sale that was going to end badly for the employees, but you don't really have options. So the sellers in this case learned about an employee stock ownership program as a good option and started investigating, and it turned out that it was fantastic. We were able to respect and honor the contribution that the employees had made for some of them 40 and 50 years, and we were able to realize some real value from the company, get some money off the table, as you might say. And oh, by the way, there's a huge tax advantage. So Uncle Sam didn't get their piece of the pie. So it was a great win.
That's fabulous. And so what advice would you give to other businesses who might contemplate employee ownership? Because yours is a very unique model. So you figured out what was best for your company.
Sure.
Not just the straight 100% employee-owned ownership.
Yep.
So what would you advise other businesses contemplating employee ownership?
So first of all, just learn about and be open-minded to the possibility of employee ownership and the ESOP. One of the things that can be daunting as a seller when you first look at ESOPs is they look complicated and they look like they're going to be really hard. They are more complicated than a strict straight sale, but it's not hard, it's not insurmountable, and there's a big giant advantage to it when you do that in that. For one thing, you can go to the grocery store with your head held high and you can run into a former employee and be happy to see him. So that's a great idea. Also, you get to walk away with your real value. The ESOPs pay the fair market value of your company, and you don't have to pay Uncle Sam. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm Michelle Griffith. I'm the CFO of Joma Construction.
And I'm Mackenzie Gallagher. I'm the marketing manager at Joma Construction.
And we're here today because we're an ESOP.
Absolutely. And so you're 100%.
Yes, ma'am.
Fairly new ESOP. Tell us what motivated your company to make this move to employee ownership.
I think it was a couple of things. I think one, we wanted to maintain our company culture, and that was very important. We had grown the company over many years, and we didn't want it to get sold off to somebody. But we also know that the founder of the company isn't going to want to stay forever. He's going to want to retire someday. So it was a way for him to see a way out of the company without just selling it, which we didn't want to have happen. So that was huge, those two things. And then also just something to add to our employees as an additional benefit for them. It's hard to find good people.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So anything that we can do to add to our benefits package, we're all over it.
I love that. And so I know you're a new ESOP, but you've been there a while now, a couple of years. So tell us what the biggest impact you have seen to date on attitude, your company as a whole.
I think probably one of the biggest things has been, and it's an indirect benefit of being an ESOP, because I think when, to have employees understand the benefits, the long-term benefits of an ESOP in terms of, retirement money and things like that, you have to educate them. Mm-hmm. And you have to teach people to think like owners. And that benefits you in the short term as a company, is that everybody thinks, okay, how am I going to benefit this company? What can I do for the company?
I love it.
That is something, and it makes everybody really have some skin in the game.
And I love what you do. Your Monday, what's the name of Monday Minute?
ESOP Moment.
ESOP Moment. Mm-hmm. Every Monday,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I want to thank you again. When I visited you before, I have a great Joma coffee mug. And I bet you put things in front of your employees like that help them remember that they're part of they are the owners.
We hand things out to customers, employees, anybody, and these days especially, we try to make sure anything we hand out says that we are employee owned.
I love it.
Because the community likes that, you know.
They
I
do.
think our customers appreciate that when their eyes light up when we say, yeah, we're 100% employee owned.
And it's not
They
deer
like
in the
it.
headlights after that. They kind of
Right.
know what you're talking about.
I agree, and that's changed just in the last 3 years. There's a lot
That's
more
great.
knowledge of
Yeah,
that.
You're
it
doing my
really
job
has.
for me.
We try. You do a lot, so I don't know if we're doing it for you.
Well, thanks so much for being here today.
Sure.
Thanks, Marie. It was an awesome presentation. I love
Yeah.
everyone here.
This was fantastic. We had a great time.
So we appreciate the opportunity to do this event with you. So my name's Doug. I'm the area director for the Athens office of the Small Business Development Center, or the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center. And we're one of 18 offices across the state. So we have a team here in Athens that serves 12 different counties. And we love providing services to small business owners, aspiring business owners to help their businesses grow and succeed.
Well, we really appreciate it today. And Carla, all the hard work that she did. So I want to call her out.
Carla
And
is the glue that holds our office together.
I can tell that.
It was great having your event here, and we enjoy supporting that and the employee ownership model. One that is potentially of interest to our clients. So it's great to make these opportunities available to them. So thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Marie, for having me. I'm happy to be here. My name is Judith Winfrey, and I am one of the worker owners at Love is Love Cooperative Farm.
Where is Love is Love Cooperative Farm?
Love is Love Cooperative Farm is a certified organic vegetable farm located in Newton County, near Covington, Georgia. We sell organic vegetables, cut flowers, and seedlings, mostly to the Metro Atlanta market and around Newton County.
I am so excited that you could be here because it's very difficult to get a co-op in the room with us, and now you're in trouble. So what are some of the values and benefits of working in a worker-owned cooperative, and how did this model help your farm secure land and build a sustainable future? So
Wow,
on that
that's
question.
a really big question. But I think for me, some of the benefits of being a worker-owned cooperative, the two biggest benefits that I can think of are, one, shared leadership. Like, farming is hard work. There are lots of variables all the time, and to have multiple stakeholders helping to carry the work forward and the responsibility of the work allows everybody to have a little bit more of a sustainable lifestyle. Farming in the summertime can be sun up to sundown, and it can be very physically demanding. And to have people to help carry some of that it's a wonderful way to farm. I mean, it really has been a game changer in terms of quality of life. So that's one piece. And then the other piece is continuity. We feel that we are on a pathway to see a farm that can exist for multiple generations, which is a rarity these days. If it's not like a publicly traded company that owns a farm, to have a small farm that can go on and serve the community that it serves for generation after generation is kind of an incredible thing to think about.
That is so, I cannot wait to come and see your farm. And so tell me what you would say to farmers in Georgia who are thinking about, okay, my family they might be trying to exit or about to give up.
Yeah.
Because we see that so much in rural Georgia. This is just killing me. It's so important. So what might you tell them? Would you contemplate sending them to us? How would you help farmers in Georgia?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's also a complicated question to answer quickly, but I think starting with the intention of keeping the farm going would be the first place to start. Like, let that be your guiding light, and then look around at the community around you, the community of people that are working in your business, the community of people that support your business, and find your allies and find the people who might want to step in, and then start something I learned here today, thanks to you guys, really start to train them and bring them along and help them understand. I think with everything, there's trade-offs. And one of the things that does become a trade-off when you're a cooperative is autonomy. you are no longer autonomous. You are a cooperative, and you have to make decisions with a group. And sometimes that takes some getting used to. So I would also say, once you find that group of allies and stakeholders and people that you want to be in this community with to carry this farm forward, I think you have to start working on relationship building.
I love it. I absolutely love it, and we want to help you any way we can.
Thank you.
I'm definitely coming to see your farm.
We do a plant sale. I'm going to put a plug in.
Oh, please.
We're not open to the public regularly, but every spring and every fall, we do a public plant sale. It's kind of like a small festival. Home gardeners can come and get plants. We also do workshops. This year we did gardening workshops and foraging workshops, and we have music and pop-up chefs, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay,
so
and
go to
when
our
that
website.
You gotta get, okay, because we would really like to promote that.
We would
Any way
love for
we
you to
can.
be there. Thank you. And we'd love for you to come, and you too.
So Matthew, so excited to be in the great city of Athens, as always. So please tell everybody who you are and your role, and then I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm Matthew Epperson. I am the Local Outreach Coordinator with the Georgia Center for Employee Ownership.
Why is Athens a great place to talk about employee ownership right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in Athens since 2009. And so a lot of people, when they think about Athens, they think about us in terms of our football, which is awesome and amazing, great reason to come here.
Go Dogs.
But, go Dogs. But, you know, I've also heard this expression that Athens is the Liverpool of the South. And when I thought about that, I was like, that's really interesting. It's really because we're such a musical and creative place as well. Like, a lot of people don't realize we're home to so many awesome bands that have come out of this place, like B-52s.
I do.
REM. Yeah, I actually used to check out Michael Stipe at the grocery store, the grocery co-op where I started. I used to be one of my customers. Widespread Panic, Drive-By Truckers. There's so many great artists who have come out of Athens. So I think we have such a great and vibrant, creative, artistic community, as well as a small business community. And I think a lot of people, because they have so much passion, they end up forming small businesses where they end up kind of enacting that passion. And so that's why I think it's a great place for us to be talking about employee ownership, is because these folks who have created these sort of institutional businesses that are just sort of the staples of our community, we should protect them and preserve them. And so I think employee ownership is just an incredible vehicle to be able to keep these legacies here in Athens, which is what I'm passionate about with this campaign.
And we have this wonderful project here through the ARPA grant. We want to thank the Athens commissioners for voting for us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. And so we got a lot of work to do here.
Right.
And there's a lot of lack of knowledge about employee ownership, but there's also a lot of misconceptions.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about misconceptions about what people think about employee ownership in general.
Well, where do we start, right? So there's a lot of them, but I think the biggest one that I come across is the idea of how can my employees afford that? If my employees don't necessarily have the capital to necessarily buy the business, how it is that they can become an owner of the business. And so that's actually part of the sort of the magic of employee ownership, is that in most transactions, particularly with our ESOP and employee ownership trust transactions, employees don't pay anything to become an owner of the business. So it's actually part of becoming a leveraged buyout that we're actually using the profits of the business to be able to buy back that business from the current selling owner and be able to bring those folks into ownership almost as a gift. I think it's a bit of a misnomer to say a gift, because it is, you're still going to continue to work. In fact, you're probably going to be working harder because you're becoming an owner, and you're starting to connect the dots between what is that profit and loss statement? What is that balance sheet? What does it all mean? How does it connect back to my job? So a lot of what we're doing is encouraging that ownership mentality where employees become owners in the way that they think about their job. And so that's a lot of what we're kind of encouraging.
And so one thing about the co-op model is that it's very changeable for, yes, you can work for a company and not be part of the co-op, or you can be part of the co-op and have a vote, and that co-op can structure it for what's right for them.
Absolutely.
It's a little more easily changeable than an ESOP, even though ESOPs can, be maneuvered, but a co-op, such as the great one we heard from today,
Love is love, right?
set it up like they wanted it set up.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's part of the beauty of employee ownership is the flexibility there. So with the co-op model, as you were kind of saying, Marie, like we have one member, one vote, but we can also have fairly traditional sort of managerial and hierarchical structures too, where like in a traditional investor-owned firm, we have a traditional board of directors, and that kind of control is how, governance is exercised. So actually we see the whole gamut of that across the world of employee ownership. And what's great too is that it works at any size potentially. So we can have as few as maybe even 3 employee owners all the way up to Publix, which as we know is over 200,000 owners, right? So the fact that it can be designed all sorts of different ways, profit can be distributed in different ways, co-ops do that a little differently from ESOPs. We've got so many options for folks that there's no business that we probably think couldn't be employee owned as long as it's running well. So.
And you just made me think of another misconception about employee-owned companies, and that's that the day after they become employee-owned, let's just say they're 100%,
right.
The world changes.
Yeah.
And actually nothing changes except they add a trustee to the board, or they might talk to their employees more.
Right.
So would you say that's another big misconception?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it comes back to who is that selling owner or selling owners, and what are their priorities. So we continue with the culture that they've already created, and we're just making it stronger with employee ownership. So that's how we see the value growing in our employee-owned companies. That's how we see the benefit coming back to our employee owners.
Exactly. So I can't wait to do more of these in Athens. You're going to be sick of me because I'm going to try to come to every single one. So thank you very much.
Glad to have you.
Whether you're a business owner thinking about the future, service provider looking to support your clients, or just curious about how employee ownership really works, join us for conversations that inspire, inform, and show what's possible when ownership is shared. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And visit us at gaceo.org.